Hello everyone, happy Monday. I tell you, I sit down here to film and then all of a sudden she wakes up from wherever she is, wants to come sit here by me. Come on. Okay, it is well into the afternoon. It's 1:41. The kids have been obviously doing schoolwork. Come on. The kids have been doing schoolwork and I have actually gotten quite a bit done today. So I got my test pattern. It's a surprise. It is a jacket. I'll tell you that much. It's a jacket. So I got it all cut out, that and the lining, and I got everything interfaced and got everything prepped. So I'm ready to sit down and actually sew that. Or is all ready when I'm ready to sit down and actually sew that. And then I went ahead and sat down and, not sat down, but went ahead and cut out my, I say last, it's probably not gonna be my last cello. I think that's the Italian way. Cielo for Spanish and cello for Italian, maybe? It's a new pronunciation every time. Anyway, I held up all my versions to my son and asked him, I was like, okay, I'm making this in this pumpkin color. Should I make a top or should I make the dress? And since I already have the orange top right there, he suggested that I make the dress. So I'm like, you know what, that would be nice. I enjoy wearing dresses in the summer, especially when it gets really hot. I think that red one, the first one I made, is going to get a ton of wear, even though the fit is not perfect on that, which is fine. I mean, it'll still get worn. But I cut out the that marmalade color in a dress that I'm going to do the contrast facing on the outside, and then the sleeves, I'm going to do all of that on the outside. Or, good gracious, all that in the contrast. So the sleeve bands and the facing are going to be in the contrast green color, but I decided to do the dress with the pockets instead of the top, since I already have the orange top. I am going to leave this pattern, so this is going to be the last one I do for a while, but I am going to leave this pattern out because some of those rayons that I have out that are scheduled for other fabrics or other patterns, I'm having a hard time talking today. If I have enough when I'm done cutting out those projects, I'm going to go ahead and cut out some of the cello tops as well, because I really think as far as a woven t-shirt, I'm going to wear those a ton this summer. So I'm going to leave the pattern out while at least while I'm cutting out all the rayons that I have earmarked for other projects. So anyway, okay. Also, I have Simone, one of our lovely viewers, suggested to me that it would be a lot easier if I actually filmed in time-lapse instead of filming regular time and then speeding it up and editing, which makes complete sense. And I don't know why. That didn't dawn on me. So I'm attempting to figure out my camera. I'm gonna see if I can film in time-lapse. So I'm just gonna take you guys over to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew up this dress and I'm going to film it in time-lapse and let's see how that goes. Actually, I'm gonna take you over there, show you how I'm gonna do the facing real quick, and then we'll go into time-lapse. So we'll do the facing first. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so here is our facing. See how nice that looks. I've gone ahead and I've trimmed the any excess interfacing that popped up over the edge, which is bound to happen just from turn of cloth. So actually here it is. It's the front that dips down below the back. But see how nicely that is all finished. So I have my dress assembled to, I've got the back little shoulder panels on, and then I've got the front and the back sewn at the shoulders. I've not done the crazy pocket yet, so I am going out of turn a little bit. But I'll do the rest of that on in the time lapse that I'm going to try and do. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to pin our facing to our dress, the right side of the facing to the wrong side of the dress. And I'm just going to pin at my notches. And then I always get thrown by the shoulder seam because I want to match the shoulder seam to where that that back part is, and that's not right. So you should have center front and center back of your dress and of your facing marked. There are indicators on the pattern there. And then I'm matching my shoulder seams. Okay, and again, I have the right side of my facing to the wrong side of my dress. This will all make sense in a minute. Okay, I'm going to sew this. This should all open out fairly flat because you don't have your side seams or anything done. But I'm going to sew this at 5/8 of an inch because that's our seam allowance, and I'm going to sew with the dress on the bottom and the facing on the top because the facing is more stable than the dress, and you want your less stable thing to be on the bottom so that the feed dogs can help you out. So I'm just going to start at one shoulder seam and sew all the way around. Okay, so here's the right side of our dress. And our facing, you should see the interface side. So now we just want to go around the entire neckline, and we're going to clip into the seam allowance about every 1/2 inch because it's a pretty tight curve and you want it to lie nice and smooth. We're going to cut to the stitching, but not through it. You could also grade your seam allowances if you'd like, where you cut one shorter than the other. Or you can alternatively just, if you want to reduce some bulk, you can also just trim your seam allowance down, which is not a bad idea. I have pretty, I don't know that my fabric really needs it. I don't know, I may go ahead and do it. I always like to clip in first, and then I will trim my seam allowances over a trash can because it's like confetti. I just find it's a little easier to clip in when I've got more seam allowance to play with, but you can do either. Okay, I'm gonna go trim this down now. Be a good seamstress. Okay, so once you have clipped into your seam allowance and you've got everything trimmed the way you want, we're gonna understitch. But this is gonna be different because typically you understitch, you are stitching your seam allowance to your facing. This time we're actually stitching it to the dress because that's gonna be the inside of the dress that we won't see. So I'm just gonna go all the way around and I'm going to understitch. And you are stitching it to the dress, but to the, well, you're stitching your seam allowance to the dress, not the facing. All right. Now once you have understitched, you can go around and press your facing to the outside of the dress, and then I would use some pins because we want it all to lay nice and flat because we're going to top stitch it in place, which is basically just the opposite of what we do on any of the other versions. Normally you're just top stitching it in place on the inside instead of on the outside. So I'm going to hit that with my elbow. I'm just going to go over to the ironing board and I'm going to press it. I'm going to pin the outside edge here that's going to get top stitched down. I'm going to pin that in place as well and give everything a nice good steam, and I'll be right back. Okay, So I have everything pressed, all nice and neat and pinned in place. And now I'm just gonna go around and I'm going to top stitch it down. Now someone suggested that you could do like a really fancy, you could do a decorative stitch to top stitch it down, which would be really pretty. You could use your, if you've got a serger or a cover stitch machine, actually a cover stitch, you could use your flat lock, which is just, or you could just cover stitch it backwards where you have the loopy side, kind of that athletic look. But you could use some really fun thread and do that and then mimic it on the sleeve cuff as well. I'm just gonna do a straight top stitch down, but I am using the orange that matches the dress, so there will be a line there that you'll be able to see. So I'm just gonna go to the machine and I am going to top stitch this down. And there we go. That looks like it's all weird. It's not. It's just the way the dress is tilting in. So if you can see, it just needs a good press now. That's not going to want to, yeah, there we go. That is how you flip the facing and how I finished it off all nice and neat. Okay, I'm gonna put you on time lapse now and I'm gonna finish this dress up. So let's see if I can figure this out. If you don't see anything from this point, it means something's gone horribly wrong and I can't figure out my camera. But here we go. All right, guys, look, here it is. It's all finished. I did the dress version. Super light and airy. I mean, it's a very loosey-goosey dress, as you know, but look at the beautiful color contrast. I'm so pleased with it. You know, this one does fit me better than the red one. I mean, also the red one will still get worn, but yeah. And I was able to do the deeper hem on this one because I added length back, and then I took length out, added it back, that kind of thing. So it's got the nice deep 2.5, well, 2-inch hem, 1/2 inch, and then another 2 inches. So yeah, this is gonna be fantastic for this summer. Okay, so there we go. I mean, it's horribly crinkled because it's been shoved under my sewing machine, but I'm loving this. I mean, it needs a good press, but, or an iron, technically. But yeah, I'm so pleased. I love the facing. I think it looks nice with the sleeve bands, just something a little different. So yes, okay, I think we're gonna put the cielo, whatever, pattern away, kind of, for a little bit. Like I said, I am gonna leave the pattern out. I'm not gonna actually, I iron my patterns flat. With a dry iron. Even the PDFs that I have printed out, so they're on like printer paper, I iron them super flat to put them, the ones that I do keep. If it's a pattern that I think, I actually had this question the other day, if it's a pattern, you know, like a neat dress or a jumpsuit or something where I only need one of those in my closet at a time, I will actually recycle the pattern. I'll make notes of maybe some alterations I've made, but there's no sense in hanging on to that if I'm not going to use it again until that one, the current one, wears out. So that's kind of my thing. Now, if it's my t-shirt patterns, this one, I will keep this one because this is one that I might reach for again and again and again. My Misty cami, stuff like that, I do keep in the filing cabinets with the printed patterns, but I just iron them really flat, put them into plastic Ziploc comic book bags. And yeah, that's how I store them. Those. And I don't have as many because, again, I only keep the ones that I'm going to use over and over. But this one will definitely be one of those. But I don't think I'm going to iron it and put it away yet. I have gone ahead and ironed the other sleeve, the gathered sleeve, because I don't think I'll be using that again. I am going to keep it with the pattern just because it's already printed out. But that's already been put away into the pattern envelope that I've created. But yeah, I think I'm going to leave the actual pattern out so I don't have to re-iron it. And then, like I mentioned, maybe cut some offcuts of other projects out as I'm going, especially while we're in this quarantine time and I'm flying through a lot of these linens, and I really would like to make some in rayon. So yeah, when I get cutting into those, I may make some tops to go along as well. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this, however you want to pronounce it, cielo, little extravaganza that we've had. I've got 5 now, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, I have 5. And they're all like in the same kind of color family except for the white one. I've got a red, white, orange, kind of a more of a burnty orange, and then another even more yellowy burnty orange with the green. Anyway, I have a color palette, what can we say? So I think tomorrow, I may be light on filming tomorrow because I think I'm going to tackle my pattern test that I can't show you guys, but I may come on and talk about a little bit about getting the Pietra pants ready to go, because that will be the next pattern that you see me tackle. All right, that's all I've got for today, guys. I hope you all have a wonderful Monday. I will see you tomorrow, and yeah, and then you will see a formal video that goes up tomorrow too. Okay, see you guys later. Bye. Hi guys, happy Tuesday. I'm looking a mess. It is almost 7 o'clock in the evening. I have been, well, doing schoolwork, of course, this morning per normal. I went on an hour-long walk with a friend of mine. You hear my kids in the background. And I've been working on this pattern test all day long. Okay, so I filmed yesterday and filmed the tutorial on how to do the facing for the color block dress that I showed you yesterday, and I'm pretty sure my SD card is just starting to crap out. I have ordered 2 new ones, but I've got a corrupt video yesterday, the day before. It just wasn't a major clip that it was like a time-lapse thing that I could easily cut out. But then yesterday, I had one corrupt video, one corrupt file, and it was the one where I was explaining the facing. And I just can't, I mean, it's gone. So, like, I just can't make it work. Like, it's ill. So, basically, it's the same thing that I did with that Misty Cami, except that I sewed my facing, front facing and back facing together at the shoulder seams, and then I did the same to the interfacing. And then I sewed all the way around the outside edge with a 1/4 inch seam allowance, and I sewed the non-sticky side of the facing to the right side of the non-sticky side of the interfacing to the right side of the facing, 1/4 inch all the way around. Then I clipped every 1/2 inch all the way around, and then I understitched the seam allowance to the interfacing all the way around. Then I turned it and pressed it, and then I just trimmed around the inside neck edge where there was extra interfacing that kind of poked up out of the top. So I am so sorry that that happened. Again, I've got the 2 video cards ordered. I ordered 2 this time, so I've got extra. So here's hoping that I don't have that issue again. I have a lot of filming I need to do tomorrow, and they're supposed to arrive tomorrow, so hopefully that happens. Anyway, yes, so that is what happened there. I apologize greatly. Oh, and I also tried doing the time lapse with my camera, and I went a little fast. So that's going to be a learning process. We're just going to try and amp that back a little bit to where it doesn't look quite so like, whoa, that was a quick sew. Slow it down just a hair. Anyway, that worked a lot better though, filming in time lapse. So I have figured out how to do that. So that's very exciting. Okay, tomorrow, I'm done sewing for tonight. Oh, I have to, that's a lie. I have one more step I have to do on this jacket, and then I finish the jacket, because I want to try and get pictures of that tomorrow. But for tomorrow, I am going to start filming. We're going to put the Pietra pants on hold for just a little bit because I need to start sewing the sew along wrap dress, and I'm going to start that tomorrow. I'm at least going to film the pattern alterations, the muzzling, the fitting. I'm going to do all of that tomorrow. And then for that video, and then I thought I may go ahead and cut out another one of those big 4 patterns out of the rayon as well while I'm doing all of that. Someone else had asked for a sew along of the, it's the other butter dress that I've got over there. I can't remember which one it is. I can't remember the number. 6643 maybe? I'll pop a picture up here. Which I'm absolutely fine to do. That's actually got cup size patterns, so it might be neat to do a sew along with a pattern that already has the cup size patterns. And I can talk more about how I choose that size for myself. So I might do that one after I'm done with the wrap dress sew along. And then maybe, I've promised a swimsuit sew along, so at some point here soon we'll be doing that as well. Okay, so yeah, tomorrow, I'm not sure what you'll be seeing me film, but definitely I'm gonna start that sew along filming tomorrow. You just won't see that till Sunday, so we'll figure it out. Okay, I hope you guys have a wonderful Tuesday. I'm sorry that this is all there is for today, and again, I apologize for that crep file, but I just wanted to get this test garment done so that I can move on to other things. Okay, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.